Greetings, everyone. David here, and this is a quick introduction to part two of my chat with Harry Murrell of cognitive personality theory. And I've got links to his channel in the description, so please check that out. You'll see some graphics come up while we're talking. Please head over to his site and give him some love and support and thumbs ups and all that kind of stuff. He's a really good guy and has become a good friend of mine. And so in this discussion, this is the second half of the video that I am hosting. So we had a conversation that stretched to around an hour and a half. The first part of our conversation is hosted on his channel. The link is down there. Go have a look, and hopefully you enjoy it. We dive into some pretty technical stuff as far as INFJing and MBTI and just kind of our history with it and everything else. And the second video of 3 is hosted here. It's the last one I uploaded, where we got just a little more lighthearted with our conversation. And this one is even more lighthearted than that. Some questions that you're going to see us answering on this one, just as we had a free-form chat, was, and actually I would love it if you answered some of these in the comments. Pretty please, because they're actually just kind of fascinating questions. The first one of which is, if you could witness any moment in history, what moment would you travel to in order to visit? Another question was, how has your sense of self and how you look affected yourself and those around you? I'm also going to talk a little bit about my psychological attachment to hats. Hats? Where are the hats? They're back there. And the reason that I have the hats, and you see them on many of the videos that I do. One of the most fun questions we answered was, how are you a difficult person to live with? And boy, I'd love to see your answers in the comments. Please do that. As well as a big-time future-oriented question, like if you could travel forward and witness one day of your future, what day would you choose? So we had a really thought-provoking discussion, and Harry's just a really good guy and has become a good friend of mine over the past few months, just as we've been kind of talking back and forth and then collaborating on this project. I hope you enjoy these videos and these talks. I'll be back to you very soon with some more content, and we're just going to kind of keep this thing rolling. So I hope you enjoy, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks. Let me give you another question. Let's do another one.
Sure, mate.
Let's go... no. Okay. Ooh, fascinating. All right. If you could witness one key moment in history, what would you choose?
Whoa.
Right. That's a heavy question.
That is heavy. Wow. I mean, because so much of what we're taught about and that is retained in our memory, stays in our memory because it's an absolutely horrendous event that we never want to see happen again.
This is true.
So I don't want to see it. So the first thing that flashes in my head is just trenches and stuff. As soon as I said that question, I'm no, I don't want to think about that. I mean, I have to respect the fact that it happened, but we need to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm trying to think positively right now. I'm not sure if you're better at this than I am.
I have one that immediately popped into mind, so I can go first while you're going through it. Sure. I would say the building of the pyramids, because I just need to know how they did it. And it drives me crazy, and cool. Just to see what it would be like, that environment and how many people and what was that, what did it look like? What was the culture like at the time? That's always been something Egyptology is always something that kind of fascinated me. And if I could, I mean, there are many events that I would like to see throughout history, but picking one that's very far back, it would probably be that one. I mean, I'd hang out with dinosaurs and stuff too, but that might be a little hazardous.
Yeah, the meteor, I guess that's less of a catastrophe.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Those amazing creatures who obviously deserve life more than dinosaurs. Pyramids is an interesting one because, of course, that spanned centuries, I think, that event, in terms of the amount of years it took for the pyramids to be built. But that's just fascinating, to see a time lapse, for example, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be real cool. Nothing's come to me. All I can think about is terrible atrocities. Maybe
falling of the Berlin Wall. Would that be a thing? To be there when it came down?
That's and it's relevant to my first example. Yeah, that's pretty effective.
I'm trying to help you out
back
here.
To this.
Okay, all right. Let me pick another one.
I'm really struggling with that.
I'm gonna keep it to the side just to nail you on that one later. Oh, this is a great one for our discussion. All right. How have how has your sense of how you look affected yourself and the people that see you?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great one. Because I'm very image conscious. Definitely. Um, I've always had an obsession, like before I was aware of the human body as perhaps a means of artistic expression. So, going back to like toddler ages, I've always been obsessed with like creation of harmony, beauty, such things,
Right.
something that looks nice, that feels nice in an aesthetic sense, which seems to just transcend just senses. It's more
Sure.
of a sense in your mind sort of saying, that is something I can relate to, that I feel affinity with, or that's something I want to be, essentially. This
Right.
represents and the state of nirvana that I haven't attained. Um, and then yeah, and then you begin applying it to yourself and other people. You say, oh, well, this person looks nice, this person doesn't look nice. And I was doing that before, sexuality was even a thing within,
Sure.
my psyche. It was like, okay, yeah, some people look nice, some people don't. Yeah, I was like into martial art films and stuff. I had a bit of a,
Right.
an early sort of man crush thing going on for like Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat.
Of course, yeah. He was
So
super
again, it was like,
cool.
yeah, I mean, so this male or this female, yeah, this is a really nice looking body. And so
Right.
like then like once sexuality enters it, like, puberty and whatnot, then that,
Right.
that confounds the entire thing because it suddenly becomes intrinsically linked to your value as a human being.
Interesting. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I need to attract a person I'm personally attracted to. And this, whether I like it or not, whatever my desires are, objectively, this is something I have to deal with.
Right.
And
Right.
then it becomes worse when it becomes a social construct as well.
Right.
And therefore, it's not just your value as related to your own ability to procreate, but also your value
Right.
in terms of like a hierarchy, because some people who are more attractive are going to be more popular, etc.
Interesting. Yep.
So it's so complicated, but it's also something that we have to a degree, especially in early life, accept. And I think I'm still wearing off the shackles from that. I think when we become adults and more independent and find a means of, well, proving our worth to both ourselves and others that isn't reliant upon our attractiveness or our sense of individual aesthetics, yeah, we become freed from
Right.
that to an extent, or at least we're given the option to become freed from it. We can continue within that uni-lad culture if we want, but
Right.
otherwise, yeah, you have the option to say, well, this doesn't determine my worth, and I know that in most circumstances, someone I find attractive, and also like who you find attractive, like it becomes you throw off the shackles of like who you should find attractive, and then you start finding attractive
Okay.
people who you actually do find attractive because
Yep.
that's the genetic element of it,
Right.
pheromones and all that.
Right.
Because you might even find yourself like with someone who another person might say, oh, well, this person's this number on this scale, and this person's this number, therefore they're not compatible. Or actually, yes, they are.
Right.
They're genetically compatible people. It doesn't always match up with this kind of perfect face thing. So I'm
Sure.
going on a massive like tangent here, trying to cover all the possible angles of this absolutely massive question. But
I think I mean, I can give you some thoughts on this. Just for me,
yeah,
I try to strip it down a little bit, and I recognize that we live in a very Instagram society right now. Where um, there's so much stimulation, there's so much visual stimulation, and you typically see somebody takes a picture of the best meal that they're having. It's the best selfie that they've chosen out of 40 selfies that they've taken, with the best outfit and all of this kind of stuff. And I think it is easy for us to fall into that trap and think that that is a normal representation of everybody around you when it
yeah,
is not. So for me, it's like when I'm home, I typically like to I want to wear something comfortable. I don't care what it looks like. It doesn't matter. Like it could be a giant oversized hoodie that I've had for 20 years. It's like it's got stains from my kids when they were throwing up on it 12 years ago. Like it because that comfort is very important to me in that environment. Um,
yeah,
Going out and about, it's like I've changed in a way that I don't dress to impress others anymore, whereas I used to do something along those lines, and be very cognizant of that kind of look. At this point, I just try to, if I feel put together, then I'm good.
cool.
It's the same thing as like like the hats, like my hats that are in the background,
I love
right?
your hats.
Yeah, I know. It's and that was not something that I did until very recently. Um, and this kind of speaks to it. There's an emotional attachment to those hats for me,
Yeah.
because when this past year, as you know, when my brother passed, um, I was stuck in Las Vegas when I got word, and Las Vegas is a very difficult place to be when you just receive tragic news, because I'm in some giant mega hotels. Everybody's just partying
Surreal.
and
Yeah.
drinking and having like this amazing time, and just my head was truly spinning.
Yeah.
One of the first things we did is we walked around through one of these giant malls. It was in like the Caesars or whatever, and went to a store. And that white hat that is in the background was I'm like, you know what? I'm putting this on. It gave me a sense of comfort and just kind of like a shield almost.
Yeah.
So I bought the hat, and since then I've started collecting the hats, and it's for the same kind of purpose. Like they give me this sense of, I feel like they look good, they make me feel good, and they give me a sense of almost like walking around with an umbrella when you don't really need an umbrella. I'm sort of in my own little space underneath the
Yeah.
brim. Um,
That makes a lot of sense.
and
Yeah.
that was the psychological attachment. It's nice that they look good,
Yeah.
and that they're cool hats and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm.
I don't know. I think I've changed in such a way where I spend a little less. I worry a little bit less about how I'm perceived, and a little bit more about being comfortable to the way I feel okay, and then I'm all right with it from there. So it's different for
Yeah.
everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't even touch on the more everyday aspects. I
Right.
just went straight for the straight for the heart, went for
For the deep
sexuality
dive.
because
That's okay.
yeah.
Where's the
Um,
rabbit hole? Because
I
you're
think it's
going
because
there.
yeah, I'm still this like this single like young-ish male. I don't know, maybe it's just like yeah, it's just like oh, okay, blah 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 blah, sex. So
Sorry.
so that whole like
That's hilarious. All
the
right.
fire you just can't keep down. So
Let me give you another
but yeah,
one.
it's just go on.
Let's
Yeah,
go to another so question, right? We'll do a couple more and then we'll finish up shortly.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so no. Oh yeah, let's know this about you personally. All right. In what ways are you a difficult person to live with?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can be quite a difficult person to live with. Um, I have, and I think it's mainly because, no, not entirely, because I am used to being by myself. Um, so when I'm living with someone, which I have been for a while, I have my oldest friend staying with me while he does his masters. It's been absolutely great and
Awesome. Yep.
also absolutely horrendous. But no, overall, it's been a fantastic experience. But I think, yeah, the greatest benefit has been character development for myself, learning to
Okay.
tolerate differences when things aren't done a certain way, etc. It's like if we're speaking in the dichotomies, it's my J part coming out.
Right.
Speaking in terms of the cognitive functions, it's my unusual kind of like obsession with extrovert thinking
Right.
that's coming out. So I like things to be so done right, I guess. Especially, and I'm quite
You're
it's something
particular.
I'm still overcoming from my transformation in late adolescence, whereby I developed a bit of an ego. So I'm sensitive to respect, and I feel I need to be respected and to control that respect. And it's
Okay.
something like I need to balance because at the same time we need to maintain respect of people around us, and we should never take their respect for granted. So that means we need to monitor it, and we
Sure.
need to respect the person's respect, so to speak. But on the other hand, it's like you can easily become an absolute tyrant, or you know, so you just need to find a balance between it. So
That's
yeah,
an excellent
so
word.
I can be difficult.
Tyrant is
Um,
perfect for that. Yeah, I can see that. Well, and
how
it's
about
like
you?
anything. I mean, living with another person, if you walk in and the refrigerator's open and they're drinking something out of a carton, obviously, like
What are you
that,
doing?
that
Yeah,
crosses a boundary. Sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Yeah, for me, I guess difficult to live with. I have I'm territorial about the kitchen. I'm
Yeah.
highly kitchen territorial because I love to cook. I enjoy it
Mhm.
very much. I feel like I'm very good at it,
Yeah,
and as soon as somebody's toe crosses the threshold into the kitchen while I'm at work and all these things are and
yeah.
everything, it's just get out of the
Yeah, it's like
um,
sort of like a meditative state, could you say? Like this is
oh,
my
absolutely.
activity. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
can relate to that. If somebody interrupted my workout or something, or even worse, my actual meditation, I'm like, what are you doing? So
right.
it's like it's
And
just
I
so
don't even,
stressful.
it's not even the, I still, when I make food, even if it's by myself and cooking for myself, um, like I plate it in a way that looks aesthetically pleasing, even though I'm just going to smash it anyway over the course of like 30 seconds. But I will go through the extra trouble to,
Yeah,
garnish something that I've made, even if I'm
nice.
the only one in the house. So I'm very particular about that. And so I'm hyper, kitchen territorial, and the kids will wander in and spill stuff, and I can't handle it. So that's my
My dad's
space
an
right there.
INFJ and he's very territorial about his kitchen.
Is
So
he?
yeah, so you have a similarity there.
That's pretty
That's
funny.
interesting.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's do one. We're right
Oh,
around an hour and a half, so we'll
okay,
do
that's a
one,
good
one
one.
maybe two more. Here we go. Let's see. No, we already did the friends one. Okay, what is your okay? Speaking of kitchen, what is your favorite
Yeah.
dish, and what memories do you associate with it?
Um, it has to be a recent memory because it's a recent dish.
Okay,
My, it's actually a keto dish, funnily enough.
all right,
So yeah, man, I just love throwing in some cruciferous vegetables, plenty of butter, plenty of oil, and I like to mix in some like coconut milk,
okay,
and then like sesame seeds is the key ingredient. So I need to leave them, I leave it to simmer with the sesame seeds in,
right.
and then I throw in some sardines,
Oh,
and it's just like yeah, and if I get everything right, it is a completely unique flavor which just nourishes me so much. I'm just like I cannot stop like making sounds when I'm eating this. It's like I never thought I'd find my favorite dish on a ketogenic diet.
yeah, no
So
kidding.
that's awesome. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, sardines and coconut milk sounds really interesting as a pairing. I'm not-
It works. I
I'm,
promise you, it
I'm
works.
sure there's other things involved in that dish that are more than just dumping sardines and coconut milk together like cereal.
Yeah, but it's about
Uh,
getting all the spices right. I haven't listed the proper
right?
ingredients.
Okay, there you go.
It's
So
I'm
I'm gonna
definitely a
I'll
throw it
try.
all together kind of guy when it comes to the kitchen. But I think we'd have a difficult time coexisting in the
Yeah, probably.
kitchen.
That's funny. Let's see. For me, my favorite dish. So my my parents are from Croatia, this Yugoslavia at the time where they were born and raised, and subsequently kind of escaped from. Um, and so one of the things that my mom makes, and it's I mean this is a ubiquitous dish everywhere, is crepes. And so
Ah,
and she would make them in just kind of a certain way, and she'd put this stuff in them, and in Croatian or Hrvatski, it's called kruškavac, and it's like I think it's a pear liqueur or like a pear extract, and it's kind of like bright orange. It doesn't look like something a human should consume, but it's just like a couple of drops, just like you would use vanilla,
yeah.
and it makes them just right. And so I went on this mission a few years ago to improve her recipe, mom's recipe, which I
You
have
definitely
done.
improve upon. Wow. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got it. I nailed it. And so
Nice.
usually now every time I go and visit family, they're all like, okay, which day are you making crepes for all 20 of us, and things
Yeah.
like that. Um,
Yeah.
but it's the one that kind of hits to those comfort memories, memories of home, memories of mom in the kitchen. It's definitely something, she would do them with filling. Traditionally, she would always do them with marmalade, but I really don't like marmalade. Um, but ricotta and like chocolate or something like that. It was always just kind of a sweet sort of dish, and now I just kind of go berserk with those. So
Awesome.
it's the one that I go back to when I need comfort food.
Oh, that's
You
really
know.
beautiful. I love the story as well. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, actually, I will contribute something of a more nostalgic nature to the question. And it's very simple. My mum, when I was growing up, she made flapjacks, and we called them oaties because they're made of oats. And
Okay.
she didn't want to call them flapjacks for some reason, whatever. And but they are unique actually because they have a certain like a thickness, like a wholeness, a wholesomeness
Right.
about them that you wouldn't expect of a flapjack. A flapjack's mostly sugar. It has that kind of like that
Sure.
crumbly kind of texture. Oaties are like this big block of oats.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like it is a different entity.
Right.
And so yeah, like every now and again when it's a special occasion, my mum would like make some oaties still
Yeah.
for me. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is all right.
I know it kind of brings you it brings you back to
Mm.
a more almost a more innocent time when you didn't have to cook for
Yeah,
yourself so much.
absolutely. Those
Things
were
like
the days.
that. It's
Yeah.
that does for me, that hits just right. Any kind of food like that just, a lot of times as soon as it hits my tongue, it just there's a memory about it, or a
Yeah.
sight or a smell or something along those lines. Want to do one more? We'll do one more.
Let's do one more.
All right. Let's see. No, I'm trying to find one that's like, relatively applicable here.
Yeah, cool.
Let's go with, if you could preview a single day in your future, what day would you preview?
Okay, well, I'm not going to say what we're both thinking. Um, wow.
I know. This is your future thinking INFJ moment right here.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, a day of my future that I'd like to perceive. Um, I'd like to perceive an experience that in the moment I'd like to last forever. So let's say, getting super ambitious, wacky, out of the box INFJ going on here, but
Right.
staring at the sunset on the soil of another planet.
Oh, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to last forever. And if I can have a glimpse of it, that'll make like two memories of seeing the same thing. And I
Right.
think that might be an approximation to something lasting forever, like having a memory twice.
Okay. That's huge. Wow. Now it's like I kind of feel bad about the ones that were coming in my head. I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to see when I had like a nice car. No. Um, so
That
yeah,
sounds like
I guess to preview something in your life that you could see, or perceive something that you could see. Um, it's hard to beat Other Planet, man.
I
I mean, not
know.
that I'm trying to like win here, but for me, I think anything that I'm trying to, as you know, I'm trying to write and finish a book, and I would like to, if I could today, experience just 5 minutes of what it will feel like to hold that in my hands.
That's
Something
good.
something that
Yeah.
is, and I just find it so interesting anyway, because anything that is artistic is something that we are creating in the physical world from neurons firing in
Yeah.
our brain, right?
Totally.
And we're taking that and making a physical work out of it. It
Yeah.
really is magic, if you think about it in those terms. And so I would like, just for some extra motivation for myself, to hold that and see it for just a moment. And I think that the moment it would poof and disappear, I'd be sitting there and writing like a madman. And so that's the kind of thing that I
That's
tend to
incredible
think
because
of.
it has a utility as well. It's like it's motivation. Yeah.
Right, right.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
There you go. All right, my friend. So
Oh,
shall we wrap
nice.
up? We've been
Yeah,
chatting
I think
for
that'll be
we've been
a
chatting
good
for like an
time.
hour and a half here. So
Yeah,
like
man,
this has been a good
we've been
time.
going strong.
Let's
I
do
haven't
this
really been
again
that tired by it either. Yeah,
because
definitely.
this is a joy, and I really enjoy
Absolutely.
talking to you. And I think people will really dig just kind of hearing two people, chat.
Been a
They're
nice, organic, fluid conversation
that's
from
it's
yeah,
the
two
best way
people
to
with very
have them.
similar mindsets. So
Right.
yeah, it's
It would
cool.
be very different if we were in the same room in a party, where we had to go around the room and
That'd be
talk a
awful.
little about ourselves.
Keep changing rooms whenever other people come. It's like, go away,
Get
leave me
out of here.
alone. This
That's
is the
it. That's
kitchen.
enough.
Yeah,
So that's awesome, and thank you for doing this. And it's,
thank you.
you're one of the really pleasant friendships that I've been able to have. Just, it's so neat how this kind of happens. You do something, you put yourself out there a little bit, you start connecting to
Uh,
people, and then you start to realize that the world is actually not all that small.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like you're
exactly.
reaching out to somebody that's so far away,
So
but
yeah,
technology is amazing to just be able to sit here and chat with somebody that's,
absolutely crazy, isn't it?
what are
Yeah,
we,
it's
five
another reason. Like,
hours,
just unbelievable. Yeah.
5 hour
Oh, you see.
difference? Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
6 or 5? Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. So
yeah,
so so insane. So thank you for that, and all of that. And yeah, let's do it again. Let's do this again sometime.
definitely. Cool. So let's wrap up. Same, all of that to you, and thanks again for doing this with me.
Of
And
course.
can't wait to see what people think of it, and potentially looking forward to doing this again,
Yep.
depending on your own desires. So yeah,
Absolutely. I'm
take care,
always down
man.
for a
Hope you
chat.
have a lovely Christmas as well.
Yeah, thank you.